ideas so things can change.
If you've got a double buggy, if you've got twins or a child that's a year older and a newborn baby, you can't get your double buggy up through the pasture, you've got to go miles down.
I've loved it every minute up here because I've lived up here 55 years.
Through the big local, I will be building dens with the 5 to 11-year-olds at the playground, so I need some ideas.
Also started doing a youth club on a Thursday night for the older ones.
I'd like to say thank you to the Warwick community group because they've brought me to stand up for myself and look after myself now.
Stuff out of woodwork, we do card making, we do drawing. So if anybody would like to come along on a Tuesday and Friday morning and join us, they're more than welcome.
Reading your newsletter, we've got various other things coming up in like June and in April, and we've got an Easter hunt that we are trying to get going. And there's a trip to Knaresborough as well if anyone's like 30.
You're number 10! We're gonna kick the rocks out of you!
What the Big Local is doing is, as well as bringing £1 million to the estate, it's going to also be bringing lots of other opportunities for people. And one of the opportunities is through an organisation called Unlimited.
Unlimited's a charity that works with people who've got good ideas about how to make their place a better place to live. Similar to what you're wanting to do with your street dancing, you've got a good idea of how you can engage people. Well, that's what we want to hear about. We want to hear about people that's got different things to do. We've got 3 levels of award. One is the Try It award, and I think that's appropriate for you, Brendan, because you've got an idea of what you want to do. The Do It award is the next one, when you've got some idea about what you want to do and you know your market, and that's up to £5,000. If that all works really well, we've got another award that we can offer, and that's a Build It award.
No application forms, you could probably have it done within an hour. So it actually took me over a week to fill mine in because I wanted it to be that perfect, so I was that keen on getting the whole thing done perfectly. But as soon as I were keen on doing it, but I wanted to make sure that every single sentence and everything that I wrote down was to the point that it were good enough for me to get accepted.
When I looked at the Unlimited forms, I just thought, oh my God. I mean, I know I've been in touch with community groups and I've looked at the forms, but I've never had to fill one in. But when I looked at it, I thought, oh, it looks a bit... And then I started filling it, I was just like, oh, that's so easy. I could just reel it off. It was really easy. And anyone that's got an idea, it's just fantastic just to know you've got that £500 to start setting up. Got it, I was just like, wow, it's here. I can actually move on now and start buying stuff and start saying to people, look, I've cleared it all. Because when I first got the allotment, it was awful, really was. But thanks to Street Scene, they came in and cleared the last of the bit that I was struggling with. And it's just been fantastic. For me as well, it's helped with my depression. It has. It's really just being out in the open and digging things and things like that. It's great for stress management. It's been absolutely fantastic, and I couldn't have done it without Unlimited, really, and Big Local.
It was just a spur-at-moment thing. I thought, well, we ain't got a fruit and veg shop up here no more, so it'd be nice to try and grow our own here, and we can use them in cafe here, so I put in for that Unlimited Star Award, and I got it. I was gobsmacked when I got a phone call telling me I'd got it. I've made my planters up. I've got me composting them now. I've got some of my vegetables growing in greenhouse inside, which need to be going out, so I'm going to get kids to plant them tomorrow, hopefully.
We heard about the Unlimited, and so we sent off what forms or whatever we had to do, and we filled it in, and they come out, did the Unlimited to see us and asked us what we wanted to do, and we said we'd like to do bingo with the children.
The full house, both the threes, 33.
But we've decided to do bingo with the old folks as well, because they've enjoyed it and that.
We've been awarded some money to set up a community cafe, which is quite exciting really, because I think it'll do really well if we market it right. I think it'd give somewhere for people to come down and meet and chat and have a coffee or a breakfast, or and just have a good chat and catch up and meet friends and things like that, and meet new people.
So through the Big Local as the trial, we are doing some luncheon clubs for free to see how successful they run. We've done one so far, which has been absolutely brilliant. We've had a really good response and a really good turnout from the elderly folk.
I think when word of mouth gets about, people will catch on and they'll come, they'll sample it, and if they don't like it. But usually, when they do enjoy it, they'll spread the word around and we'll get more in. The more the merrier. This is free, so we're hoping, and then another 2 lunches to go. So we're hoping after that we still get the same crowd and more, just to pay a little towards the cost. And it's good for the community, it's bringing more people out of their houses. And all these people that sit here, they're all neighbours that don't see one another from one day to another. Now they're all here today. And they're going to have a nice game of bingo free, some nice chocolates for prizes. And we're hoping eventually to try and get a little tea dance going.
We've had salmon salad, drizzle lemon cake with cream and strawberries. Fantastic, beautiful. We're voting for it, we're putting it down, we're coming every week. We put down that we'll pay £3 because it's worth it. It's great. I like the atmosphere and all the people that's coming. They're very friendly and the staff's lovely.
9090 3 and 4 34. Hallelujah.
The food is beautiful, really nice. You get a good meal. And I mean, like I say, we wouldn't mind paying £3 for the meal. And I mean, people that we haven't seen for a long time are coming. So we see people that we haven't seen for ages, years, some of them. I mean, nearly all on his own. So it's nice to come somewhere where there's a cooked meal for you.
1 and 5 15.
I think everybody's enjoyed it. It's the first time I've had salmon, but it was very nice.
It's nice to see people coming in throughout day instead of it stood empty and that.
Obviously through the Big Local we've been getting a lot more volunteers on side and people interested in doing it. So we put in for this award because we would like to, in time, turn our kitchen into a social enterprise. And we're wanting to do things like breakfast lunches, pensioners lunches, teenage mums, coffee mornings. So with more interest from volunteers, these have come forward and want to work in the kitchen, so we're hoping to use this money to train them up, get them new qualifications and turn it into a cafe hub which is open all day.
So at the end of 10 years, Big Local will want to know that the communities are better able to identify local needs, take action in response to them. People will have increased skills and confidence so they continue to identify and respond to needs.
We've been burgled a couple of times by living up here. It's the crime and the antisocial behaviour that's the worst on this estate.
Lately there's been loads of robberies and stuff like that in houses. Like where I live now, within 2 months there's been 6 houses that have been robbed. So yeah, and it's really terrible because you got to keep an eye out all the time.
The biggest problem on the estate for the residents really is doorstep lenders, or personal loans as I like to call them.
They don't pressure you, but you're easy roped into them.
When you're on benefits and you're short, whether it's because you've had to pay a lump sum on rent or you've had an unforeseen debt come out and you've got bank charges, you just think, where else am I going to turn? And if you've got a poor credit scoring, you've got no chance really anywhere else that have got cheaper rates. So when a doorstep lender comes knocking on your door and they say, oh, we can give you £100 for only £5 a week, you think, I can afford that. So you automatically sign on the dotted line. You're grateful for the £100, but when you look at the paperwork properly and you're having to pay like an extra £50 on top or more, and then you find out that if you fail to make a payment, they actually slap more charges on top. It's making it a lot worse for people, so then they've got no choice but to take out another personal loan. Having a credit union based upon Warwick Estate would just be absolutely fantastic for everyone.
It would be helpful having a credit union up here, yeah. I mean, because there's a lot of people in debt on the estate that are trying their best to get the debts down, but if they're on benefits, they can't afford to pay the sum that they're supposed to.
I think mental problems up here, especially depression, is a major problem on this estate, which is probably why a lot of people don't take pride in it anymore, because they can't really feel pride as much in themselves because they feel so down and they don't know who to turn to anymore. And it's upsetting for them, and it's a scary place to be, and they just don't know where else to turn. Oh, okay, right, mushy now. And I think as soon as they realise that there is somewhere to turn, that they'll start taking more pride in where they live.
On Warwick Estate, a lot of people have mental health issues. Most of them suffer from depression. Most of them are drinking and taking drugs. There's no help for those who take drugs and alcohol. There's no on the estate for that.
There is a lot of drugs on the estate and a lot of drink. I mean, a lot of people's come off the drugs to go on to drink. They've been to rehab, got off the drugs, and now they go on to drink.
To address some of the depression problems up here, it'd be good to have long counselling sessions, running long-term counselling, because everyone does have depression, whether it's down to drug use, alcohol abuse, postnatal depression especially, anything like that some sort of counselling service can come up and be based here long-term would just be a immense life-saving thing for the estate, really.
It's a lot for children, but when we are closed, due to lack of funding.
They've knocked the fire station down, the health centre, and they've knocked loads of houses down at the top, and the Fossil Farm School they've knocked down. I think it upsets people because they want something to do. They don't just want to sit in the house and be bored all day.
The pub is closing down, although, I don't know, I've always said I'd like a community pub. But at the end of the day, it's finding people that would be interested to actually run it. Because if it closes, there won't be anywhere for adults to congregate and have evenings out. I want to see adult ed up here, definitely adult ed on the estate for the 16 to 18-year-olds that leave school, but leave school with nothing. And then from 16 to 18 up here, there isn't really a great deal for them to do. And we don't have an education centre. And maybe in the next 3 years, we could look at having an education centre somehow.
Well, I'll get you out some paper.
Yeah, pen and paper, and we can write down the points.
I think a lot of people would like all the green fencing down and half-walled and a bit of fencing on. But it just looks like a prison camp at the moment.
It's
like everybody
like a prison
said.
Camp.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're just hemmed in.
There's no jobs on the estate whatsoever. I mean, that's why I volunteered here in the first place. I mean, I had to say to the job centre that I was doing voluntary work so they could give me a letter for Advent to fill in and sign saying that it was okay for me to do 12 hours a week here as voluntary.
It will.
lived my life on the estate and have struggled getting jobs. There are no buses after 6 p.m, so this makes it hard reaching jobs. It costs lots of money in taxes, so people don't bother working. People don't have the same job chances as everyone else. Job applications are turned down because of the postcode and the name Warwick estate.
The high demand in specialist sessions for children and families with special needs. There is also a need for youth provision and nothing to do for children aged 11 to 16 years old when the playground is closed. We would like to open for longer and have more staff hours and money to do this. And with the right structures in place, we can address these issues and make a better future for the estate.
Just after the strike it was, when the redundancies came through and a lot of people finished at the pit and moved away, that's when the estate went downhill. Before that it was nobody locked the doors.
The estate seems to be all closed in, if you know what I mean. Everything's been removed, hasn't it? Like the club and the school and... The club, that was the heart of the estate, that at one point.
I mean, I've been frantically scribbling down things as the film's sort of been going through. I mean, some of the things that we can take away with and discuss further, such around credit union with Jackie, looking at maybe what we can do in terms of credit union, bringing them onto the estate, looking at the horrible green fencing, and Juliet and I have just had some very brief discussions about, you know, sort of possibilities of what we might be able to start looking at.
The kids setting fire to wheeler bins and rubbish because they've got nothing else to do. There's a lot of work that my team can offer in terms of education, and that is going to be the key message that we give.
200,000 into a new pot in the credit union that pays off loads of those doorstep lenders' loans, and they then pay the credit union back at a low rate of interest, but that interest then comes back into Warwick. So, you know, it's not just about having a training session here, having some small grants. We can think big as well.
What happened the other day is, and rightly so, they came along to our senior management team meeting, which was directors, to look at how we can best help this initiative. And what we've made is a pledge as an organisation that we will try in each element of our directorate to give some support to this initiative. So we've got a range of tasks that's not been typed up yet, but our CX was very clear in terms of how those rolls out. So we're going to work from that perspective as well. There's a lot of organisations in this room that I think we should work together rather than individuals. You can see why people are starting to heads are down, and I think it's important for us now to actually try and just lift that back up a little bit wherever we can.
And away they go for their last chance to get themselves into the final.
Today, the Old Quarry Adventure Playground participated in a dragon boat race, which consists of 18 members, members from the local community who volunteer for the Adventure Playground. So today we'll have a lot of people who are involved with the Big Local that are going to be there, which includes the local cheerleading team, who are ambassadors for the Big Local. They're going to be taking part in a dance.
Those teams doing a lovely job raising money for charity. Okay, if for any reason your dragon boat should capsize, i.e. turn over, you will get wet, okay?
That's one of the lessons that's been learnt from other regeneration funding rounds, SRB for instance. Agencies came in, told people what were good for them, and people were left really hanging and not having much influence. The Big Local's been different. Okay, you've still got professionals involved, I suppose you have to do. But at the end of the day, it's about people taking ownership of the process and the funding, of course. People are realising now that via input they can make a difference, and eventually they will own the process.
Big Local have helped us get with kits for the children.
One of our sponsors,
they're one of our sponsors, and we are actually the ambassadors of the Big Local. It's our cheerleading group. If it weren't for Big Local, I don't think we would be stood here today. Basically, we'd be doing our own thing on a Monday bank holiday.
I'd still be in bed. No, actually I wouldn't. I have 4 children, but I could dream of being in bed.
It's just, it has fetched us all out of our shells, really. I mean, it's got me from my depression, out of my depression, because I'm doing something that I actually love doing.
And it's given me a bit more self-confidence because I was shy. Now I ain't got a problem getting up there and doing it good with the girls.
She just goes for it wills.
Everybody's got their own voice, their own opinions on what they want on the estate. That's why we have meetings.
And they listen to everybody.
And they listen to everyone. They don't just listen to one person saying they want this. They actually listen to everybody, and it's really good how they've actually come out and done that.
It makes people believe that changes are possible, whereas a lot of people think the Warwick estate will never change. It's stuck in the way it is. And with Big Local and the few meetings that we've been to, everyone's got a chance to say what they want, and they're actually listened to.
Yep.
Get yourselves together and make your way over to the briefing area.
I think on first race we got in and we realised like how much competition we actually had, so then we had a really good practice and came together and, you know, put some elbow grease into it and gave it his best shot.
We got our big guns on front of board, didn't we, this time?
Yeah. But it was good because when we finished as well, as boat were coming up, it was just like a row of everybody that we knew wanted, like cheerleaders and residents and his local chairman for Adventure Playground and policemen, and they were all like cheering us on, weren't they?
Spurred us on more, didn't it, when you saw everyone all lined up outside at Knottingley.
Yeah, everybody that you know from, everyone you knew from work.
Cheering us on, it was fun.
And I think it was good as well because on the second race we did really work together as like a team and an organisation. It like kind of showed it through work a bit, especially with stuff with Big Local going on at the moment. We've really come together and worked as a team, so we kind of like showed it in his rowing, didn't we, on a second race.
Awesome!
A lot better one.